That's a very enthusiastic crowd. Hi, everyone. So I hope you had a good lunch. So we'll start with the afternoon sessions. Our hosts really know how to welcome us and feel us and feed us. So I don't know about you, but so a big round of applause for your. Come on up. So it's my great pleasure to introduce our next speaker. Jordana Atucha, Director of the House of the Basque Language and recipient of this year's Council of Europe Museum Prize. The prize is awarded to a museum that is committed to human rights, democracy, and cultural understanding, a museum that helps people better understand today's societal issues and bring communities together in times of cultural, social, and political divide. The prize also celebrates the richness of Europe's cultural heritage and the connection between local and European identities. The House of the Basque Language is a vibrant cultural educational hub in Bilbao. It was founded with a mission to promote, protect, and celebrate the Basque language, serving as both a symbolic and practical hub for language revitalization efforts. It also fosters a deeper understanding of Euskera's historical roots, its contemporary use, and its significance as a marker of identity and cultural resilience. Jordana and her team have strengthened community ties while also engaging in broader conversations about minority language, cultural rights, and participation in heritage. Their dedication shapes the House of the Basque Language as an inclusive and inspiring space where language is not only preserved, but also vibrant and thriving. So please join me in welcoming Jordana to the stage.
Arratsaldeon guztioi eta eskerrik asko, Mathieu. Good afternoon and thank you very much. I am so happy to share this stage with all of you, and I would like to learn a lot of all your experiences, and it's an honor to be here. First of all, I would like to sincerely thank the Committee on Culture, Science, Education and Media of the Council of Europe for having awarded us the European Museum Award 2025. I am proud to be able to represent Euskararen Etxea, the House of the Basque Language, and to share this recognition with you, which we feel as a responsibility and an invitation to move forward. It is also an honor for me to have the opportunity to participate in this forum and to share with you a small glimpse into our home. It is a space dedicated to promoting and disseminating Euskera, the Basque language, which is one of the oldest languages in Europe that is still alive, and which is also a point of reference for language revitalization. I invite you to watch this video together.
This is the case of Basque, a language that has been growing since the arrival of democracy in the 1980s, a progressive, inclusive process that respects plurality, a process driven jointly by civil society and institutions. Euskararen Etxea is a cultural centre that shows the challenge of revitalizing a language.
Euskari oso hotza da, baina jendia bihotzak oso bero daukate.
Basque is a living language. It is beautiful, plural, and intrinsically linked to values such as commitment, altruism, civil rights, and even sustainable development, since its existence makes the planet a more linguistically and culturally diverse place. At this interpretation centre, we call for a world made up of lots of small worlds. Being small means we are dynamic, flexible, transformational. Basque is a small language, but it is by no means a minor one. because no language is worth any less than any other. It is a matter of coexistence. Euskararen etxea demonstrates that it is possible to revitalize a minority language and wants to send a positive and encouraging message to all the languages that make up the linguistic diversity of Europe. Basque adds up.
Basque is a minority language that continues to live on because its community has decided to do so. The title of this speech, Euskara, Go Out into the World, is inspired by some verses by Bernat Etxepare, collected in the first book that was published in Basque back in 1545. These verses express the will of a community that not only wants to preserve its language, but to share it with the world. 5 centuries later, this message is still valid. At Euskararen Etxea, we are guided by the same desire that Etxepare expressed, to show the Basque language to the world as an essential part of the linguistic diversity that enriches our societies. For us, Basque is a language that brings together identities, people, and cultures, because it's not a pure language, nor an isolated one, but a multicultural one. The memory of many languages lives within it. Our mission is twofold. We are a place of reference that acts as a vital niche for the ecosystem of agents involved in language revitalization. We are very aware that this ecosystem is made up of mainly non-profit organizations and language enthusiasts. We are part of European networks of minority languages. We promote coexistence between languages based on a real equality, and we are a tool for social integration. Furthermore, we are a home to the only interpretation center devoted entirely to the Basque language, and we therefore feel an enormous responsibility to represent not only its history, but also its vitality in the present, and above all, its projection into the future. In 2023, we renewed our exhibition discourse to show the vitality of our language within scientific rigor and an optimistic, forward-looking outlook, an outlook that is open to the world. We are a center without a tangible collection, but with a large archive of experiences. We have more than 600 indicators on the vitality of the Basque language, indicators that were collected from institutions, universities, and specialized publications. They reflect the socio-linguistic reality of the language, and they are constantly updated. Ours is a dynamic, interactive, educational, and above all, people-centered museum model. There is not just one story, but multiple perspectives, scientific, historical, cultural, multiple voices, accents, and testimonies from all periods. The center also shows and promotes the linguistic diversity of our people, and of course, it advocates harmonious coexistence between languages. Our language is a language that is thousands of years old, and at the same time, it's young, precisely because it has been able to coexist in a plural environment and adapt to each era. We are a small center, and we often think that a small museum can't change anything. But we believe that small also transforms if it creates social bonds and a stronger community. Our center grows with activities that go beyond our walls, such as traveling exhibitions, educational programs, workshops for families, synergies with other museums or sport clubs, or online visits that also connect us with our Basque diaspora. It is wonderful to be part of a community that contributes so positively to the world, that helps make the world a better place. Ours is a house open to all that awaits you in Bilbao. Eskerrik asko, thank you very much.
Hello, good afternoon. Next slide, please. Welcome. We are going to continue now right away with a panel called Living Heritage, Museums and Communities Shaping the Present. As Jordana had a presentation, she will not do it again. So I will ask here 3 other museums to the panel to join me. Yes. We have Steinman Genoorten from Open Air Museum Het Hogeland from Netherlands. We have Krina Mares, project curator from Collective Memory Point from VAR, from Romania, and Ana Ramos from Alvor Lifeboard Interpretation Center from Portimao, Portugal. So for sure, this is a panel of the museums who are the smallest by the side. So I think one museum doesn't have any official workers. I think the biggest museum has maybe around 6, but this doesn't make our panel less smaller. So all these museums, as you also heard from the introduction from Jordana, they are really community-centered, people-centered. They work with the communities very closely. The heritage, what they are dealing, is nothing but fixed, stable. It's all is lived, reinterpreted daily. And it's all embedded to this contemporary life, what we are living now. So the heritage is in constant discussion. So I will give you the floor for the presentations. And you can start to ask already questions in the Slido, also from Jordana. And then we have a discussion later. Anna?
Hello, good afternoon. It's a great pleasure to be here today and share with you a little bit about our Alvor Lifeguard Interpretation Center project. Well, this space, also known by the acronym CISA, opened in December 2023 in the riverside of Alvor, a fishing and touristic parish of the municipality of Portimão. CISA is a project of the Portimão City Council through the Museum of Portimão and takes place in a former lifeguard station that underwent renovation and museography works to adapt to a museum and continue to house the rowing lifeboat, its centerpiece, that served on duty from 1933 to 1974, helping fishermen. In 1983, after the closing of the lifeguard station, the Portuguese Navy tried to take the lifeboat to the Navy Museum in Lisbon, but the Alvor people revolted, welded the station gates, broke the lifeboat rail, and didn't let them take the boat. This oral story was our starting point to work side by side with the community and conceive CISA as an interpretation space, not only of the collective memory concerning the history of the Alvor lifeboat, and its representation as a symbol of protection, resilience, and solidarity of the people of the sea, but we also related it with the daily fishing life of this community, from the time when they used rowing and sailing boats. I'm sorry. Something happened here. Yeah. Okay. So this is it. I'm sorry. Yeah, Well, this story was our starting point to work side by side with the community and conceive CISA as an interpretation space, not of the collective memory, concerning the history of the Alvor lifeboat and its representation as a symbol of protection, resilience, and solidarity of the people of the sea. Well, we also relate this with the fishing life of this community from the time when they used rowing and sailing boats and until the present, with its transformations and challenges, being our mission to reflect, safeguard, and value the local maritime heritage. Therefore, on its ground floor, CISA hosts the exhibition, The Lifeboat, the Rowing of a Maritime Community, being a space for close dialogue between host and visitor, promoting proximity and a feeling of sharing with the community, which is whom tells its story throughout the exhibition, displayed on screens, interactive equipment, and through donated objects, documentation, and photos. This space is also prepared with rails for the lifeboat to lift the museum into the river, given that it is a living museum object and participates of a local procession in honor of the fishermen. On the first floor, where the lifeguard captain house was, is now a space for displaying some fishing crafts and to develop some activities with visitors, as well as a space to continue co-working with the community around their heritage and local customs. We aim that this project contributes to the community valuing its story, its identity. The fisherman's work continues today to be a job with a certain amount of invisibility and little social appreciation. One of the themes covered in this exhibition relates to the fishing community future, and the museum is currently carrying out an ethnological study on longlining in Alvor, an artisanal fishing craft, seeking to record its functioning in accordance with its work processes and social organization. The aim is to safeguard and perpetuate this sustainable fishery, one of the less predatory and polluting, and valuing those who practice it, as we are preparing its registration on the Portuguese Intangible Cultural Heritage Inventory, a working tool created within the UNESCO Convention for the Safeguarding of Intangible Cultural Heritage. I will now ask to pass a small film of our project. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Esta embarcação veio para aqui, para Alvor, em 1933. E então salvaguardava além a barra de Alvor, juntamente aos pescadores que iam para o mar. E queriam levá-la em 1983.
Comunicaram para a Câmara a dizer que vinham levar o salve. Durante a noite viemos aqui assim, só levávamos o pressão.
Daí partiram um pedaço ali da calha.
Mas que chegaram aqui assim, de manhã.
E o pessoal juntou-se todo. Estava tudo aqui, mas não levaram, porque o salva-vidas era de Alvor.
Para isso, ele está aqui assim, tenho muito orgulho dele e trabalhei nele.
O lema do salva-vidas é o lema das gentes do mar. Hoje por ti, amanhã por mim, que é agora o lema deste museu. A comunidade local foi desde logo nossa parceira, participando ativamente e guiou-nos pelas suas histórias de vida e de trabalho e pela importância desta estação salva-vidas. Celebramos juntos a abertura do centro interpretativo. Por isso, ao longo da exposição impera a presença da comunidade, através dos testemunhos, fotografias, documentos e objetos que os guiou para contar a sua história. Sempre em relação com o elemento fundamental. Barco salva vidas. Mas o que protege hoje o salva-vidas? Conhecer os homens e mulheres que acompanham a atual comunidade pescatória, os seus cotidianos de trabalho e os desafios da profissão é também a missão deste projeto museológico. A comunidade abre assim as portas dos seus espaços de trabalho, recebendo e explicando o que fazem a públicos de diferentes gerações. Encontram-se diariamente no museu, assumindo-se muitas vezes os cicerones deste espaço, onde se realizam também eventos variados sobre a cultura marítima local.
Thank you.
Can I go one back? Go back? Yes? Yes. Thank you. Dear colleagues, it's a privilege to be here today, and it's a privilege to be nominated for the EMYA2025. My museum is a museum in transition, and we had the first steps in that transition, and these steps I would like to present to you today. Open Air Museum at Hoogland is an open air museum, and open air museums tend to become outdated very quickly. They mostly present a static picture of the past, in which there's no development, it's just the way it was. What we would like to do is to keep the character of an open air museum, but add to that new meanings and new stories and new information. The museum consists of 22 buildings in the heart of the village of Warfum, which is the north of Groningen, quite close to the coast. We are in the middle of the village. Most open air museums are outside the village, and the main part of our collection is still standing on the spot where they were originally built. We present the countryside in the 19th century. That's our main theme. That's a part of the museum. Our current museum is static, a bit nostalgic. It's comfortable in the sense that it's really nice. It looks beautiful, and it is quite unilateral. The conservator, the curator decides what's on show, and the public doesn't have any say. We want to show that history is dynamic and is a continuous process which leads to the world we know today and the world our visitors live in. We just rebuilt one of our buildings, a care home, originally from the 17th century from the city of Groningen, which was replaced to our village in 1968. First, we want to attach themes to every building, themes that are not only historical, but from which we can show how they developed into the life today. For instance, I can't read yes. We have a windmill. We present that now as a windmill from 1889, but we want to attach the theme of clean energy and the energy transition we live in today. So the old windmill is part of this development. We have a village pub and a grocery store, and we will tell there the story of the small shops, a small business in the countryside, in the villages in the countryside, which have all gone nowadays. And so every building on the terrain gets a new makeover in which this broader theme is presented. I want to show you the care home, which we already transferred. This is an old picture of the care home. Well, a very nice, beautifully crafted picture. And now it looks like this. It's lots less abundant, and we attach some virtual, not virtual reality, but some pictures on the back wall, which suggest there are women living in the care home. Well, this is also the old situation with a old stoneware in the vitrine, and now we have a modern-day vitrine in which we showcase, in which we show how poverty developed over the ages. Another picture, this one was in the care home. The care home was originally built by a private citizen to house poor ladies. Those ladies weren't allowed to drink alcohol, so this bottle with glasses was not on the right, in the right context. So we took that away, and now we have a presentation, for instance, about the food banks for poor people we have in the Netherlands, but we also have integrated stories from homeless people and other people that have to live in poverty. That's the idea. This is the way we want to transform all our buildings, and we hope that with the care home we've set a first step into the future. Thank you for your attention.
Hello, I'm Crina Mareș. I am the curator and the project manager of Collective Memory Point in Vad, Romania. I am very happy and grateful to be here, and many thanks go to Danielle, the jury member that believed in this initiative and saw its potential, and also Museum Studio, as I'm one of the beneficiaries of the travel grant. So, the Collective Memory Point. It's a space created together with a small rural community from the commune of Vad, located in northern Transylvania, Romania. It brings together in one place the memories of locals related to traditions, customs, occupations, foods, beliefs. In a word, the identity elements that define and distinguish this community. These elements, in their authentic form, are still held by the elderly people who are gradually disappearing, and with them, these stories and practices risk vanishing as well. That is why we felt the urgency to capture and preserve them while they still exist. The Collective Memory Point exhibition is structured into 3 rooms, each corresponding to a particular theme, as follows: rhythms, the order of the ordinary and between 2 worlds. The first theme, rhythms, explore 10 sub-themes that highlight the presence of rhythm in all aspects of rural life, found in the sweeping of a scythe, the sound of animal bells, the beating of flax, kneading dough, milking animals, hammering iron, carving wood, weaving at the loom, in folk music, and even in the sign of the cross. Starting from the idea that people become attached to initiatives in which they are directly involved, we work very closely with community members, especially elders, who are engaged from the very beginning in every stage of the project. The narrative was enriched by objects donated by locals, now on display, These objects have no material value, but they are exceptional storytellers. One of the key benefits of an exhibition built around everyday, mundane objects is that it allows us to dismantle the barrier between object and visitor. People are encouraged to touch the items to feel their texture, whether it's a hemp fabric, an old ox handle, or a carpenter's tool. On the walls of the exhibition, you'll find quotes from locals reflecting on various aspects of life. The original archaic and regional language used has been preserved and it marked in bold type to highlight its authenticity. The second theme of the exhibition, it's the Order of the Ordinary and corresponds to the art installation created by artist Alex Miruțiu during his residency in Vad. The aim of this residency was to bring traditional rural heritage into the present through direct interaction of the artist with the people of the village, resulting in an artwork that now stands at the center of the exhibition. His artwork explores both the fragility and the rural world, which is undergoing irreversible transformation, and the evolution of his own artistic practice, positioned at the intersection between tradition and contemporary conceptualism. This experience deeply impacted both the artist and the locals, who all admitted that the encounter changed their perspectives on life. The third theme, Between Two Worlds, explores childhood and the concerns of the young people, both past and present. It includes interviews with teenagers about their passions, aspirations, and how they spend their free time, along with quotes from older people reflecting on this life stage. To offer visitors a complete rural experience, on the porch of the building we created the olfactory portrait of the village using wooden containers periodically filled with local scent elements like aromatic herbs, traditional foods, or even cow dung. The exhibition concept also integrates sound elements as informational vectors, for example, sheep bells, that when touched reproduce the specific sound of a flock and tell the story of transhumance, a practice still present in parts of Romania. The display modules are made of recycled wood from native trees, and the photos and interviews with locals can be accessed on tablets with individual headphones. The collective memory point operates in the former building of the Tourist Information Center, so the project did not require construction work, only the furnishing and adaptation of an existing space. The project was funded through European Economic Area and Norway grants via a culture program coordinated by the Ministry of Culture in partnership with Cité Remarquable de France and the National Museum of Liechtenstein. And if you ever find yourself in Vad and meet the villagers, take your time, don't rush, and listen to them patiently, because you'll hear wonderful stories. Thank you.
Thank you all. So, well done. The worst part is done. I have to admit that the comments are very positive. The biggest vote has got the comment which is saying small is new sexy and new relevant. But we have to go a little bit beyond that. So, because you were all rushing your slides, I was thinking maybe to just give an introduction question to all of you about the start of the museum, because you have all worked so closely with your people, with your community, with your villages, and we all understand that, like one comment is also saying that these fishermen will live many years longer because they feel pride on the things that you have done with them in the museum, and this pride on their own heritage, and this personal pride what people are getting from that is obvious. But how did you start? Which were the challenges? There is also a question for you, Anna. Did you, how was the working, which were the difficulties in working with the fishermen, for example, and the engagement with the activities? And to Stein, there is also a question, where is Groningen? Maybe where is Groningen? talking, sorry, yes. So maybe just to reflect a little bit about your motivations and the challenges in the beginning and your partners, because how did you manage to finish the museums, and which were the challenges in that sense in the beginning? Should I start? Yes, you can.
Well, in Alvor, when we arrived and we started working there and getting to know this community, this maritime community of men and women of the sea, first of all, we began to understand that this village had lots of transformations over the last years, much related with tourism. Alvor is a very touristic village. It's now their mainly activity, and it coexists with this community, with this maritime community. They dialogue, and we tried to understand a little bit about who was this maritime community in this village. And the fact is that we found a very rich culture, a very rich maritime culture with lots of knowledges, lots of working know-hows, a very rich oral tradition with lots of stories, not only about the lifeguard as the one I just presented, but concerning the life at sea and fishing. And they were very proud of this knowledge, and they were also very keen to share it. They had the sense of belonging, and they wanted to share these stories. So when we started thinking about the Lifeguard Interpretation Center, we thought of it as, how can I put it, a kind of a resistance space that, despite all the fast transformations around this community, it was a place where they could maintain their collective memory, but not in a closed way, not in a crystallized way. We wanted to honor this collective memory, but we wanted it to be in a dialogue with the present and the future of this community, because it was something that they asked us as well. So we tried to put this heritage in contact with the younger generations, and these are all challenges, so to speak, and to respond a little bit to your question. These are big questions and big challenges that we are still working on them as well. But this was one of the questions. The other one was to relate it with the future of fishing in this village. We are right now working on a particular fishing craft that it's beginning to disappear. And so we wanted to talk about this future as well. We wanted to relate it as well with tourism, with the questions related with the environment as well, the future of fishing related with ecology, with the sea, with the ocean. And so we have here several aspects that we are working on it. And the big challenge of working with this community was to gain their trust, was to be there and they start talking with us, understand a little bit about our part, our job there as well. And it was a trust, a proximity, a relationship.
Me? Yeah, so talking about the challenges and working with a community, a rural community, it's not easy to work with the secluded rural community. because it takes a lot of time to build trust and to overcome their skepticism, especially that we work with old people. But once we decided that the approach must be to make them part of the project from the very beginning, things started to get more smooth. And for example, they received unexpectedly well the artist in their community, the artist in residence, who spent 2 months there. And they embraced the whole experience. The story of this collective memory point, the first one, the pilot project, well, meanwhile, another one was completed in another village in Transylvania as well. But the story of the first one is that when I started to work on this project, I visited 12 villages across Transylvania. Most of them very rich in heritage, built heritage mainly. But this community in Vad, they were very poor heritage in built heritage. They have nothing left there. But I discovered a community very open and very willing to give it a try to this project. But then I started to invite them to donate objects, and that was a problem because, okay, yeah, we don't really need that, I don't know, this tool anymore, but I wouldn't give it away still. And then when I started to ask them personal stories, again, they said, okay, maybe they were shy at first, or they were embarrassed. And then, with a lot of patience and a lot of time, they started to cooperate. Fortunately, we had the support of the local authority from the very beginning and the international partners. And this was a great advantage because we had more credibility, maybe. I don't know. Luckily, we had the venue, which were in a very good condition. It was the former building of the Tourist Information Center, so we only had to make some small adjustments and to redecorate everything. But I work with an architect with great experience in museum exhibitions, so at the end it was okay. And now they are very proud of this place in their village, and they invite every tourist that get in their village to visit it, maybe because we publicly acknowledged every participant in the project. Their names are on the walls of the project. We have many videos and recordings with them, again, with their names. And I think that mattered a lot for them to feel like a part of this big project. And after this first one, it wasn't that difficult to replicate it because we also developed a methodology. So yeah, it was a successful project. Thank you.
Well, first, where is Groningen? Groningen is the northeastern province of the Netherlands, the most upper northern province of the country. And the part where my museum is located is close to the sea, and it's an old cultural landscape because almost 3,000 years ago people started building artificial hills to live on because the flood came in twice a day and flooded the whole landscape. So from these artificial hills are still visible in the landscape, or are still the basis of the villages of the region. The museum was started in 1959 originally by people who wanted to show some old photographs of the past of the village, or show some archaeological findings. Starting with one building, the other buildings in the surrounding area became empty without a new function, and they were all acquired by the museum. So incidentally, it became a open air museum. That was not the object by start. I think it was founded because in the 50s you had the agriculture in the north of the Netherlands has very, very large farms. In the 19th century, some farms offered work to 20, 30 people. But due to mechanization of agriculture, nowadays those farms offer only one farmer and maybe an assistant some work, and all the other workers had to find work in other parts of the Netherlands, in the industry, Philips in the south, or the port of Rotterdam, for instance. And so the society in those villages were really changing at that moment, because all those people went away. Nobody came back instead, and some people really feared that the whole region would be extinct. Nobody to put the light out. I think in that situation, some people wanted to hold on to the history of the region in the high days, and therefore started this museum. This has developed, and now we have 22 buildings, and now it's time to really take a critical look on our presentation. Aren't we too nostalgic? Are we how do you say, hailing the past as a better times, and life was better and life was easier? That's nostalgia, and I think that's a very, very wrong way to look at history. So we're now going to look how the little histories of our village and the people who live there can be pars pro toto, as they say in Latin, can be symbolic for larger themes in our country or in our part of the world. So that's I think our main objective now.
Well, the Basque language is official in our region, and that's why institutions, I mean government, has the duty to preserve and promote the language. And the House of the Basque Language, Euskara Etxea, opened its doors in 2004. But the challenge in our last renovation, the key of this challenge, the key word for me is already expressed before, is the pride. I mean, the Basque language coexists with two of the most spoken languages in the world. There are Spanish and French. And I already said a minority language can survive if the community want it. So the key message of our last renovation was to make proud these visitors and to present a message of hope and of present and of future. We obviously talk about the past and we have some historic facts, but the main message and the focus is in the present and especially in the future of the language. So I will say that this sense of pride is essential in spaces like ours.
Thank you. I will continue from there. You have all opened the doors, and now the doors are open, and I'm afraid you all have probably got many other roles now because you have opened the door to openness. So what kind of new roles maybe community has given to museums, or what new roles the museum has taken in the context of the community? And I will just try to include some of the comments. There is one to Stein. For example, the question, how did old audience manage with the new poverty exhibition? How the new audience or the old audience managed with the poverty exhibition if you bring it to contemporary life? And maybe the answer could resonate to Jordana with the question, what were the reactions among Basque people and the broader national context since the announcement of the award? Maybe it helps to answer like what other roles you now get as a museum. If you are open institution, you find yourself in a public, in a very broad way.
Well, I think that one of the most important strategies is to co-create. That makes our spaces and our projects more open to these new visitors or even citizens, because our societies are more and more complex with people from different origins, and making them part of our project is vital, because everyone is appealed to the themes we all work with. So I think that co-create is a big element for projects such as ours.
Well, the question about the former public, I have had reactions of 3 people who were very angry, and one of them wrote me an email saying, I went up to Groningen once a year to take a bath in the past and to feel really lovely, and he wouldn't come anymore. So I thought, well, maybe there's someone who was very involved in the museum in the past, but he wasn't. He lived 300 kilometers further on, and only visited the museum once a year. So I didn't think he was a key figure in the museum. So, but that's the reaction from people who like the past as a comfortable surrounding, beautiful, silent, not very complex, quite simple, and I think that's a completely false image of history, and well, those people are more escaping nowadays realities than looking for inspiration in history, I guess. So that's about, yes.
So after the project was completed, it was a challenge to convince the community and the local authorities that it wasn't just a one-off intervention, but fortunately, being co-created with the community, it was pretty easy for them to take the ownership of the place. So after we left, well, we didn't leave, but after the project ended, they just kept collecting objects from their households. They stopped throwing them away, and we already have lots of material for temporary exhibitions. And the collective memory point turned into a real community hub, also an educational venue, a place for folk events, concerts, trades for local products. So I think it takes many roles, some of them that we didn't think of. And definitely it goes way beyond the function of being just a heritage place. It's a community hub. And I'm very optimistic that it's on its own way, on the right path. And it just keeps being visited by many people, not only tourists, but also stakeholders, local authorities, and relatives of the people, of the villagers, or their, I don't know, their guests. They are taken there to visit the place. So I think it was a much needed initiative in the rural Romania. Thank you.
Well, concerning CISA, after we opened our doors, right now we are continuing the work with the community, because we are studying an artisanal fishing craft that they are still developing in Alvor, which is the long line. For those who don't know, long line is a craft with 1,300, 500 hooks attached in a long line with 3 to 4 kilometers length, and it's a very hard-working fishing craft. And because of that, and because a few years ago, the whole family worked around this art, men, women, and right now women have their own lives and their own jobs, and men are increasingly working alone. And so this is very hard working. They lose lots of hours preparing it, and so it's disappearing. They are preferring to do other kinds of fishing, like catching octopus, and because this fishing art is not, the fish is not valued enough. So, but it's a very important fishing craft because it's very sustainable. It's less polluting comparing to nets, to other fishing crafts, and the fish is very fresh. So we are working with the Fishermen Association from Alvor, and we are working with the Alvor Parish Council to try to study this art and to have a safeguard program as well with the fishermen, because their question is if this is valued enough, maybe it can be perpetuated. So right now we are working around this art, and well, in CISA we are also working with the former fishermen, with the women, and we are developing some activities with them. This is a path that we are still structuring, but we have some activities that are participated with this community around their heritage, around their customs, one of these activities, it's called Objects That Speak of the Sea, because it's, they donate a lot of objects for us to display, to put in an exhibition. Right now we don't have any more space. So it's a project with them where they tell us the story of these objects. With women, we are also having some activities. One of them is called Hands That Sewed Feminine Stories, around activities that they develop conventionally in this community. Right now they are knitting fishermen's socks, and this is an excuse to talk to them about their role in this society, to talk a little bit about how this changed their roles in this society, and to talk a little bit about some gender issues, about a certain social invincibility. So we are trying to make here to take some actions with this community.
I would just ask straightly, do they see you as the ones who should fight for the artisanal fishing? Do the fishermen see museum now the one who should fight for that it wouldn't disappear, because you are the one on which they are kneeling? So do you see the responsibility that, like, you are the ones who now should help them in this sense? Or, like, do the community give you this role?
I think that they see us as a partner, as someone that is. Because when we started this work with them, we heard lots of problems and challenges that this community was facing, not only towards this specific fishing craft, but with their work concerning European laws of fishing as well. So they raise lots of questions. And we thought that concerning an heritage point of view, we could help bring value to this art, to this activity, and also to bring some visibility along the way. And this would be a form to maybe raise some awareness also to the challenges that they are facing. So heritage as a kind of facilitator to raise awareness for some other questions. And in that sense, I think that they see us as a partner. Yes, and they call us when they sometimes have an issue, a problem. Right now we are planning the National Fisherman Day. It will be on the 31st May, and we have a program there. And this is being done always in partnership with this fishing association and with the Alvar Parish, and also with Doca Pesca. Doca Pesca is the national enterprise of fish auction there. And right now we have a program with, this year we don't have visits from schools, but usually we organize school visits to the warehouses, because we are working with them not only in the lifeguard interpretation center, but also in the fishing warehouses, in the old fishing auction that we have there, which is also patrimonialized. And so we organize these visits. We are making a fish market where the fishermen can sell directly to the public their fish on this day, with the intention of also letting them know a little bit more about their work. And we also organize some talks, some presentations concerning the future of artisanal fishing and its sustainability. and well, we have lots of cooperation with universities that have maritime research institutes, and well, several other cooperation there, and we organize this side by side, jointly.
We look so serious, but we all have very happy museums in here. So I will just have a quick look to the future, because we don't have any more questions which are coming rushly here. So let's have a look to the future, because museum is a continuous work, and there has been also a question from audience about volunteers and young people. How do you feel make relevant for the new audiences, new volunteers, youngsters, your museum? How do you cooperate with them? And maybe you look to the future, what do you see? What are your challenges? There was also a question to Jordana, that do you cooperate with Bilbao Guggenheim? So maybe this can be also a future-oriented question if it's not at the moment active.
Well, this an easy answer, no. We do not collaborate with Guggenheim Museum yet. We'll see. The future and the young generations. From the point of view of Euskararen Etxea, the young generations are a key group of, where we put our attention, because nowadays, thanks to the politics, the most Basque speakers are in the youngest groups in the society. So if the language will survive, it's because these young men and women, these children, these young people maintain the language and create in the language, and this brings this brings us to the digital environment. So the digital environment is a specific point in Euskararen Etxea, and we have different activities that connect the language, the Basque language, and the tools these young use every day, social media and these kind of things. So making them aware of the value of the language, because I already said pride, the prestige of the language is key, and it makes a language being used or not. So showing these children or these young people that doing things in Basque language is not just a possibility, but a desire, is one of the challenges. So organizing activities with them in this new language is very important, because the future is obviously in the hand of the youngest, but in the case of the language, is even more obvious. So that is what I would say about the last question. I don't know if I've forgotten something more of your question.
I think it's very fine. We can go, if we will have time, it will be good to talk about the digital presence, of course, but let's continue with the others.
Well, first about the museum and the future. We now have a couple of educational projects for children in the primary school, and they are quite successful. Last year, 13% of our visitors were children in the age of 4 to 12 who came to the museum via a school. And that gives me the hope that this very young generation will maintain visiting museums, and after experiencing that it's not highbrow or very an environment where you should be very respectful or well, posh or anything like it. So it's a comfortable environment in which you can have fun, and in which you can well, learn things about the past in a agreeable way. So that gives me the hope. However, the generation from 12 to about 30 is not very inclined to visit us, and that's could be problematic. But I guess in the longer run they will return. But our transformation is also supposed to interest larger audiences, to lower the bar to the museum, and to increase the fun of learning about the past. So I hope also that our transformation works, and we will start to interest these people. As for non-paid volunteers, thank you. That's going to be a problem on the short term, because people in the Netherlands have to work until they are 67 before they can retire, and that used to be much younger. There were rules. Well, there were people who could retire when they were 57 or 60, and these are young people who want to make something of their third age and cooperate in a museum like ours. If they still want to do that when their retirement age is 67, I'm not sure. We will have to see. But I think that if you can improve the content of the museum and to enlarge the themes we were talking about, I think on the basis of the content you can interest new audience, which also can lead to more volunteers or more interest from volunteers.
Yeah, talking about the future, engaging the young people from the village from the very beginning, we succeeded to give them a sense of pride and belongings to the community, and I'm very optimistic that they will take this forward in the future. Also, we have a strategic partnership with many faculties within Babeș-Bolyai University in Cluj-Napoca, and they were volunteering during the whole project, and we are still collaborating on their study trips and all kind of activities. So they are our main volunteering base for the place. And also we opened a huge door to artistic residencies, hopefully for international artistic residencies, as we discussed yesterday during the workshop for international cooperation, because it's a very offering place for this kind of exchanges. So yeah, I'm very optimistic about the future. Thank you.
Well, concerning the future and younger generations, I think it's always a challenge, but I think it's a good challenge. We try to talk about this project on schools, some schools are in certain levels are working about local history, and sometimes the visits to CISA have also to do with the subjects that they are studying at school. And so we got lots of school visits to the lifeguard station. I was thinking that sometimes we don't have nothing organized yet in this sense, but sometimes we also speak. We have there some fishing schools of young people that it's preparing. They are preparing themselves to have a life as fishermen, and this can be also a future plan for us to contact these schools and make them visit CISA as well. As to volunteers, we cooperate with locals that come to CISA and that are present in some activities that we do there, like guided tours where they help and they participate with their knowledges, but we don't have yet an organized volunteer policy. We are thinking about that. We have spoken already about the possibility of forming a group of friends concerning CISA, but it's something that we are still thinking about, if it should be in these molds or any other way. Thank you.
Thank you. Does somebody want to bring a happy example to the end? If you don't want to bring happy examples, I will ask a big applause to you. And thank you all for the questions. It's really nice to see which topics you raise up. So it's good that you are active in Slido, and let's have a break and come back in half an hour.
To the people here on the room, Polish people from Krakow, raise your hands. Okay, I see some. Are you Cracovia fans? Yes or no?
We didn't consult that. You're
Because
in the city of Białystok,
no,
Jagiellonia.
Yeah, I know. Jagiellonia, third place. But if you are a fan of Cracovia, you probably love the colors of Alvor, I imagine. I also one small remark to thank Crina Mares, first for bringing Romania back to EMYA, for some years we didn't have, and to make a cultural presentation from Romania that didn't include nor Vlad Impaler or Dracula. Thank you so much, Crina. And now for really important stuff, I got Piotr.
Thank you. I'm not a fan of Cracovia, sorry. So, coffee break, ladies and gentlemen. We have time till 5 p.m. sharp, so have a nice break, and we see you soon in half an hour.